Thank you for standing by. All participants will be able to listen only until the question and answer portion of today's conference. To ask a question, please press star 1. Today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, please disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn your conference over to Ms. Maura Kawai. Ms. you may.
And welcome everybody. Maura Kawai, and I will be today's moderator. Joined by colleagues in the U.S., China, as well as in Washington, D.C., from the U.S. Commercial Service, the export promotion arm of the U.S. Department of Commerce International Trade Administration. As U.S.-based trade specialist, I liaise with the China team on behalf of interested U.S. companies. Our co-officer from the U.S. Consulate in Shanghai, Nathan Donahue, is here to talk with you about how to increase your chances for success doing business in China. U.S. themed attractions businesses are trailblazing, ingenious, and innovative companies. We would like you to know the customized assistance that we offer to the full range of themed attractions businesses. If you're interested in partnering with the Chinese to deliver themed attraction, immersive, and other engaging leisure lifestyle experiences for consumers in China, you found the place. Our speakers from Jerde and Kappa, China's equivalent to IAPA, will use their expertise to support your preparing your next steps in China. Just a quick instructions about the webinar. Our operator, Julie, will be able to line up your phone line for questions at the question and answer period at the last 15 minutes of the call. By pressing star 1, you can connect to Julie. We also have a chat feature which you can use to submit questions, and we'll have 1 to 3 poll questions that will appear for you to consider. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce John Simenez, Chairman, Business Director of Jerde.
Well, thank you very much, Maura, and thank you that's here listening on and viewing. Just a brief introduction about Jerde. We just finished starting our 4 years, which we're very, very proud of. And to begin, slide. A brief intro into Jerde. We have an office in Los Angeles and two in China. We have built over 20 places worldwide, and in the last 4 years, I'm very proud of that. We're about a 100-man firm, so we look at ourselves as more of a boutique architectural firm. And finally, Mr. Jerde in 1977, and has pursued and we just keep on doing it. Next slide. One thing we're very proud of at the Jerde Partnership is the fact that in our projects we attract over 1 billion people a year. Not only does it bring it huge economic and social value to the project, but it's just something to be very proud of, thinking of the fact that we actually touch over 1 billion people a year just through our projects. And we look at ourselves as not so much as object makers, but wonderful places that people love to come to. So I think the touching of 1 billion people coming through our projects contributes to the success that we've had. Next slide. Our office behind the screen there's about 20 people. This is the entry lobby. This is our Shanghai office. We also have an office in Hong Kong. We've been working in China for over 20 years, probably approaching more than 25 years, and probably about 25 projects having completed in China. So we came in at the forefront of the game, and still here and really working strong. Our Shanghai office mainly devoted for project management and business development services. It's nice having someone on ground to be able to work with our clients in China. They really want that and provide that both from our Shanghai and our Hong Kong office. Next slide. Oh, this is me, John Simness, Chairman, Design Director. I've been with the Jersey Partnership. My first project was the 1984 Olympics, and it's just been so much fun. I just want to keep on. So, enough of me. Next slide. Projects we're working on. Six Flags is coming to China. Working with a Riverside company in planning the surrounding area right outside the theme park. Kind of what we did at Universal with City Walk, and this is a project that is on the board. Is well in the construction while it's on the board also, and it's a huge mix of anything from aquariums to performance, residential, hotels, entertainment. It's going to be almost a theme park in itself, a major attraction. It's located between it's kind of in the middle of the triangle of Ningbo, Hangzhou, and Shanghai. A wonderful location, and this is we're very proud of. Some wonderful ideas have come out. Collective working relationship with the client team and ourselves, and as I say, it's under construction right now. Next slide. This is a close-up of the transportation system entering into the area, residential in the background, hotel farther, theater, and on the other side is more of the entertainment, retail, and F&B related, of course, to what's in the very foreground is the water park, and on the other side is the Six Flags amusement park. So amusement, as you know, has been coming. Has came to China in the form of Shanghai Disney and Universal, and Six Flags is also in its play to China. And I think the Six Flags is going to be a wonderful venture. You know, Six Flags caters to that crowd that we try to cater to in a lot of our mixed-use projects, and plus a huge family also kind of event. So we're very much looking forward to this project. Next slide, please. Some of the beauties of working in China is because of the land, the high density of the projects, being able to create these kind of wonderful flagship projects. This is a project with North Star in Changsha. A kind of office, hotel, and residential along the waterfront and retail base. And so this opened, the retail it hasn't opened yet, the residential, but it kind of performed and became a new sense of trying to present a new, more Western cultural experience of living as far as the 5 residential slabs that you see right here inside. Next slide. Project, we just won an award from MIPIM. It's Hainan. Hainan is kind of the Hawaii. It's the most southernmost island across from Vietnam. They kind of equate to Hawaii, the Hawaii, China. It's in tropical weather. This is Grand Hyatt that we worked on, a 7-star resort right on the waterfront. And it opened about a year and a half ago. A huge success, and a project that we're very proud of too. So as far as amusement and entertainment, just not in our mixed-use projects and retail projects, but trying to create, as you saw before, a theme center, entertainment attraction center, and Six Flags and resorts and hotels down in Hai Phong Bay. Next slide. Also, this is one of mixed-use projects. This is in Sichuan. It's about 6.7 square meters, so almost 7 million square feet of office, hotel, and retail, leisure, entertainment. This is kind of the typical size project. So kind of opportunity of doing these wonderful projects that you aren't able to do elsewhere around the world. And it's quite challenging, but quite exciting at the same time. Slide. I think that's very important in working with within the mainland China is that it's very much relationship driven, and that's why having a presence in both China and Hong Kong was very, very important to us. Things are, a lot of it is handshake driven. Clients appreciate the sincerity and just the amount of effort that you put into their projects. It's kind of expected that friendships will be formed, and what's nice about that is that once you really establish that friendship and trust with your clients, you can have a very long relationship with the clients, and anyone in the business development will know that repeat clients is always the ones that you really want to have. Next slide. People and culture. People are asking. This is not true in China, but true in the world, is how does a LA-based firm able to work in different areas of the world? And, once you set aside the politics and everything, all the craziness that's going on around the world, people are people. People have their own ideas and what their wants are. And then it's pretty generally known throughout the world. The care for families, the entertainment value of being able to find time to do things with families, creating places, what we do for the people. So even though each of the projects will be culturally driven to a certain extent, creating soft programming ideas to accommodate the seasons and the kind of cultural behavior, and cultural season holidays of the cultures itself, of the region itself. Kind of look at people and around the world yearning for the same wants and desires. Right? As previously mentioned, we love the density. We've got the smaller projects too, small, medium, large. You really get a chance to really explore some very interesting ideas than can't elsewhere around the world. And these projects, the growth of China, we're changing pace of China. You have an opportunity with your projects to really create a catalyst and also really affect the surrounding areas. As you can see in the slide right here, our project is on the left-hand side, and they're kind of typical residential on the other side, but what the density is of the projects is really believable. And for us, it's a challenge, but it's a very exciting challenge. Next slide, please. People often wonder about construction and technology. When we started almost 25 years ago, a lot of the construction companies were actually from Japan or overseas. That has changed. Construction and technology is the finest in the world, or just as good as where else around the world, especially in the last 10 years. Problem with any of the construction and technology latest projects at the beginning of 25 years when we first came in. It was interesting. My very first time I came, I was in Pudong, staying in, I think it's the Jiao Tower, and it was the only thing at Pudong, which is across from the Bund from Shanghai. And you look at Pudong now, 25 years later, things move fast, and the construction projects move at just the same rapid pace, and learn from international contractors to provide really fine projects. Intimate development, entertainment is becoming more and more, not just entertainment as far as theme parks, but also entertainment within our projects itself. It's really driving the economy, where malls and shopping centers were falling kind of wayside, after 35 years, 40 years when the first malls were being developed, 50 ago in the United States. We're finding that in 5 years things become obsolete. So things move very fast in China, and entertainment is certainly something that is very much wanted within the projects and within just the lives of the Chinese people. That's right.
Okay.
That kind of finishes me up.
Okay.
Thank you, Maura.
Thank you, John. So our next speaker is Woody Ming Zhang, and he's going to introduce Kappa, the Chinese version of IAPA. In his overview, he will reveal how his organization works with the industry. Listening will help you to understand how the growth of the domestic industry in China and the government of China's support pose special opportunities for U.S.-themed attraction businesses who are committed to developing their international sales channel to China. Would you like to begin?
Yes. Thanks, Laura. And good morning, everyone. And this is Woody, and I'm in charge of the international communications for CAPA, which is an association of amusement park and attraction. So basically, there are 4 parts of my presentation. I will start from the general introduction about the CAPA, and then I will introduce the platform of the CAPA. And there are also some activities, we are, holding every year. And the last one is one of the China government initiative, which we call the Belt and Road. That will help you to understand our business, your potential business in China, maybe not only in China, which could be extended to the Southeast Asia and Africa and the Middle East. So next slide, please. So we are on the CAPA introduction. So next slide. So CAPA is the organization has 30 years history. Actually, this is the first and association in the entertainment industry. And also today, this is also the only association with the government background. It's a certificate by the government is the 3A association. So that is the only one. So right now we have about 1,760 members, in the organization. The organization is pretty much like the IAPA. So we have 7 committees. So that covers from the public, PR and the government relationship, and also the safety, training, manufacturer and the supplier, and also the standard. And also we have the committee for the marketing and the sales, and also the operation. So at the same time, we have different, or one thing you will see in China is that China market is very diverse. So basically, we also have 4 subcommittees of association that manage the 4 types of the parks in China. The first one is the theme park and the amusement park. Basically, it's the large scale of the parks. The next one is the water park. And also, we have the FEC Association and also the Adventure Park Association. So basically, this is the overview of the CAPA. So next slide. For our members, actually, like the IAPA, we cover the whole supply chain of the industry. So we have the developer and the investor in this market, and the investor may come from like the media company or some culture company or real estate company, and also maybe some are funded by the government. And also we have different kinds of the developer in this in our members. And we'll go to the projects, which we have a design house, and so we have consultant, and we have very wide supply and manufacturer member space. So that covers from the theme park, water park, and FEC, and also the new technologies like the VR and the AR, and also we have the safety wonder vendors. We also have the the system integration vendors in our member, and we also have the huge base of member in the operations side. Okay, next slide. Some members in the association. Basically, you can see all the park operator car pass member. Actually, today there are also lots of foreign investment in China, from the Disney, Universal Studios, to Six Flags and Merlin. So and also maybe some other how to say the business related to the entertainment are also investing in China. So actually these companies are also car pass as well. So next slide, please. So I'm going to introduce a little bit about our activities. So right. Basically, there are two main, exhibition, in China, which are organized by CAIPA. The first one, annually, we have an exhibition in Beijing. So this exhibition is already, 3 years, and that is actually we consider is the largest exhibition in Asia. The second one is every year in October we have another stop in Shanghai. So this is a new one. We already have 5 years history. Next slide, please. For in last 30 years, and the exhibition organized by CAIPA, which we call it China Attraction Expo, CAE. So for 1 year, actually put two exhibition together, we will have about 85,000 professional buyers, and also we have very huge exhibition area, and we have about 700 exhibitors, and we come from 54 countries. And like IAPA, we have lots of other activities, like the dinner, like forum, like some group meeting, and like some trade event. So I'm doing this in exhibition. So maybe at the very beginning, it's not necessary for you to join as an exhibitor, but definitely it works for you to come and to see and to meet friends during these two exhibitions. Next slide, please. So we're not only provide service to local manufacturer and supplier. Actually, we have a huge exhibitor base come from overseas. Today we have exhibitors from 54 countries, including the United States, Canada, and a lot of European-based manufacturers. So some pictures of our exhibition. So next slide, please. Okay, together with the exhibition, we have another activity which is a very important activity in China now. We call the Industry Development Forum. So it has been 13 years. So top management team, executive level, and in this industry, from the investor and the developer, and also the park operator, will join this forum. So as you may be aware, this year we have a very significant change in China market, which is that it's kind of a signal we ended era which lasted 10 years, which is the business is driven by the real estate business. So during this year forum, we have very good conversation and discussion about the trend and the future of the industry in China. So I believe this discussion will continue in next year spring in the Beijing forum. So next, please. So there are some pictures of the forum. The forum is not cheap, and we still have about 600 audience for one single forum. So please. Also have the China is like the Wrestling Award of IAAPA. So we call it Fairy Award, so Golden Fairy Award. So that is the award we give to the manufacturer and the best vendor and the projects in China market. So next slide, please. On top of the activities, and we also have a great online platform or media platform. So this is the magazine which is operated by Kaipa. It has been 30 years history as well, so we call the China Amusement. Also, we provide a supplier directory to our park owners as well. So next slide, please. We're doing a very good operation on the online platform. So Kaipa has a China Amusement app. So this is a very active platform. There are lots of information on this app. So you can find the right people, or you can find the right project, and you can find the right investor on this platform. We also have a good team, who provide content for the China Amusement. So weekly and monthly, they are going to write very good articles and to lead the discussion in this industry. Next slide, please. So that slide is about the Belt and the Road Initiative. As you may be aware, China actually in the last few years we try to encourage more and more domestic consumer events. At the same time, we try to export, our people and our goods to the country around China. So basically, this is an initiative led by the China government. But as you know, people usually go, before the business go. So the tourism is a very important part of this initiative. So that is one of the things Kaipa is leading in China market. We are trying to talk with the different organizations and the government in Southeast Asia, in East Europe, and in Africa to help the China government drive this initiative. So you need more details of the initiative, we can provide more information. So I think that is all of my presentation. And the one thing did show up here is that actually annually, Kaipa will go to IAAPA, go to Orlando to have a booth there. And so if any of you will visit the IAAPA in 2 weeks later, and you are welcome to visit the booth, which is E-Elephant 7611. So you can find me and find my colleague at this booth. Okay, it's my presentation.
Thank you very much, Woody.
Okay.
The U.S. Department of Commerce Commercial Service is proposing a themed attraction roadshow starting in southern China, then Beijing, Kappa, and then Ningbo, approximately March 27th to April 3rd of next year. We have a long list of current projects in China looking for U.S. solutions. In addition to being trailblazing, ingenious, and innovative, U.S.-themed attraction businesses already value relationships, and Nathan will present how our services support each of you in developing and improving working relationships with more Chinese stakeholders in themed attractions. Nathan?
Good morning, everyone. Real quick, Mara, I just want to check. When I move forward, does it move forward for your screen as well?
No.
Okay, you want to change the slides?
Yeah.
Just to clarify. All right. Again, good morning, everyone. I'm a commercial officer with our CS Shanghai office. Today, I'll be giving an overview of CS China, and I want to talk about, what we do as the commercial service, as well as, the opportunities that we see for the theme actions. So at the commercial service, we know that looking to export overseas can present a number of questions. We start, Are your products and services in demand overseas? Which markets should you consider? All of these types of questions. That's where we come in. Our goal at the U.S. Commercial Service is to help you answer those questions and prevent them from becoming barriers. The mandate from the U.S. government to promote U.S. exports, especially small and medium enterprises, to advance and protect U.S. commercial interests, and to attract investment in the United States. In a nutshell, we are here to make exporting easier, because what's good for you is good for the U.S. economy. In fact, on average, the U.S. Commercial Service creates half a new job for every company we help. Does this work? Still on slide 3. It's moving on my screen. Slide.
Yes.
So how does this work? The Commercial Service, we utilize a network of trade and investment professionals located in 77 countries, or 106 U.S. locations. Our professionals provide face-to-face direct support for your business, at home and overseas. Our domestic specialists provide counseling and advice to connect your company with the right market overseas. And our overseas specialists work daily to meet your export needs. To do this, our specialists provide an array of services to support U.S. exporters. Next slide. Market intelligence, providing the latest market information developed by our specialists stationed within each market for initial market checks to gauge international market potential, and we develop background reports as well as international company profiles on prospective business partners. Next.
Yes, sorry.
We also conduct trade counseling on a variety of issues, including planning, strategy, legal and regulatory issues, licensing and standards, intellectual property. Next slide. Common service, connecting your business with the right partner overseas. This in a number of ways. Through our international partner search and our Gold Key service, we provide tailored matchmaking to connect your business with the best agents, distributors, or dealers you need to help grow your business. At major U.S. trade events, we connect your company with pre-screened buyers as well as other U.S. commercial diplomats for one-on-one meetings. We also actively support a number of international trade shows where U.S. companies are actively promoted in our U.S. pavilions. Next slide.
You have the rights now. So.
Perfect. A key area we support companies is through our U.S. government advocacy. When your company bids on any foreign government project or procurements, we offer official government support for your bid through our advocacy center. Foreign governments provide support to their companies through government advocacy and political pressure. Our advocacy program is intended to create a level playing field and encourage transparency and fair treatment for all U.S. companies involved. This program, we've supported more than $26 billion in foreign government procurements, plus commercial service advocacy. Of course, one of the things I companies is that we can be as creative as you need. It's really just a question what you want to achieve in the market you are targeting. So let's talk about China. China has a population of almost 1.4 billion, which is only continuing to rise. China is the world's largest consumer economy, and consumer spending is expected to triple to $6 trillion by 2020. China is also the world's largest construction market and is heavily investing in infrastructure with plans for $1 trillion in future projects. Includes 267 airports being built or designed, 257 green data centers, more 500 smart cities projects. It really is astounding, the level of development that's taking place. So looking specifically at the themed attractions and amusement industry, we see a lot of potential as well. Current reports indicate that the demand for themed attractions is just growing across all of China. By 2020, it's expected that there will be 330 million visitors to Chinese theme parks. Currently in China, there are no fewer than 55 parks under development. Moreover, it's reportedly enough demand in China to support the development of at least 10 more large-scale parks. In terms of opportunities for U.S. exporters, first, there are the government policies in China. The Chinese government has introduced many policies to develop the tourism industry. For example, the National Development and Reform Commission released the last 13th five-year plan, directly encouraging the development of the tourism industry and the development of tourism real estate. The State Council also in 2015 released guidance encouraging the building of high-level tourism products and national tourism resorts. So what we're seeing is there's a lot of support at the national level, which is important. In terms of intellectual property, this is another area that we see as a benefit for U.S. companies. These theme parks are actively looking to develop and acquire notable brands as part of improving the themed attraction experience. Most theme park developers are actively seeking to access new intellectual property rights to better compete with the currently established brands that are here. While there are already over 100 theme parks in China, fewer than 20 of these parks have strong IP branding. Most of these are traditional theme parks that really lack the diverse entertainment facilities. Ride manufacturing. The amusement ride industry in China started later than other countries such as the U.S. and Europe. Developers still rely heavily on imported ride equipment from trusted foreign ride manufacturers. And consumer technology. More and more themed attractions and amusement experiences are becoming heavily dependent on new technology to drive the consumer experience here, such as 3D and 4D technology. These, as well as any number of other areas, we see them as really great opportunities for the demand for themed attractions in China. In terms of the major players, there are a number of important players in China. This slide lists a number of the leading developers and operators that we have been coordinating with for a long while now, including Fanta, Wanda, OCT, Songcheng, Chimelong, and the list changing every day, including Wanda. That's a perfect example. We just saw in the news today that Wanda finally finished its deal with Sunyak, which is another company here in China, and leveraged its entire themed attractions portfolio and sold to Sunyak. So now that's another opportunity to coordinate with Sunyak to find out what their plans are for the really large portfolio that Wanda has built up over the years. Major players not included on this list, but there's Riverside Investment Group, which we mentioned earlier in the presentations. They're a partner of Six Flags for their development projects. The Media Capital Group is the partner for the Chinese Legoland project, which is taking place in Hainan, I believe. And again, the list goes on. The Chinese theme park market, like you said, it's growing rapidly, and as you can see with these different projects listed, the demand is creating countless business opportunities. A couple of notable things that we've learned recently that aren't listed on this slide. Up Sichuan, our Chengdu office has been talking to the Sichuan province about new opportunities in themed attractions. Many local developers there are looking for the opportunity to construct theme parks in the region. Chengdu office has approached the local developer Sichuan BRC Group, which constructed a few parks in southwest China, and they've expressed strong interest in finding a The area has a plot of land in the tourism development zone earmarked for an amusement park developer. The Puwan's director expressed a particular interest in trying to work with a U.S.-branded theme park in that area, and Shenyang office is actively talking with them about trying to find the right partner. And recently, our CS Guangzhou office in the Jin area was talking with Gimdale, which is a developer that's looking to do a whole new set of outdoor amusement parks, shopping malls, and indoor-themed experiences. So again, the projects and the opportunities here are quite extensive. Real quick, this is just I wanted to bring this up, a list of upcoming events in China, specifically focused on themed attractions. We have the China Attractions Expo that's going to take place in April, the Asia Amusement Attractions Expo that's going to take place in May, the Expo, which is going to be the biggest one in China, that's going to take place this June. So if these are events that any of you all are interested in or already attending, please do let us know so that we can provide support while you're here. So all this interest and opportunities in China, this is where we play our role. We are uniquely positioned here at the Commercial Service to help you access these opportunities. We have more export China than any other country in the world. We have offices across China, including Beijing, Chengdu, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Shenyang, Wuhan, Hong Kong, each of which are there to provide tailored expertise. And it's important because each of these markets really is diverse and distinct, China's very local. You have to dig into the weeds to really determine the opportunities, the partners, your competitors. China can be difficult to get the right answers that you need on your own. Business in China is all about relationships. Having someone that's followed a particular sector for 10 to 20 years, known the government contacts and officials for a number of years is an invaluable resource for getting the right answers you need. I'm here to help you evaluate these situations and really cut your time to market and get you quicker to yes and to no. Now, at the same time that there is opportunity, it's always important to note that there are barriers in China, and that's the reason that we're here to help U.S. companies. Sectors in the Chinese economy that doesn't want to open to foreign competition. In a number of areas, China encourages domestic firms by making regulations impossible for foreign firms. This is particularly true in the ICT space, and looking at, say, cloud computing, where really U.S. firms aren't able to compete in the same way that they are in the U.S. because all data has to be localized in China. And there still is a lack of transparency in the way that the government works. And all these can be concerning for people wanting to do business in China. So CS Global Network is here to help you overcome these barriers and to increase your international sales. So the size of China, the opportunities really are everywhere, and China is in need of the great services and technologies that U.S. companies have to offer, particularly when it comes to the themed attraction sector. A number of ways for U.S. firms to enter the market, and we believe that with the right solutions, a dedicated engagement plan, and help from our experts, that we can really truly help U.S. firms grow their business in China. One client said to us, which we really believe, which is, the commercial service opens doors in weeks that it would take months or years for companies to do on their own. So for our part, we want to open those doors for you. Please reach out to one of our local specialists to learn more. As you can see on this, these are each one of the specialists in our regions that are focusing specifically on the design and construction sector and would be the ones that would be able to support you when it comes to theme attractions and amusement opportunities.
Well, thank you, Nathan, and would like to open it up for any questions. You can call the operator by pressing star 1, and she'll open your line to ask a question. I also intend to circulate the presentation and the recording, so everyone who's registered will receive.
Okay, question, please press star 1.
So, speakers, we do have a question. One of the panelists is asking, is there a precedent at some themed attractions for VR, virtual reality, international historical scientist experiences? For example, historical science experiences. For example, quote, meet Sir Isaac Newton, as a theme or as a type of VR experience.
If I can speak quickly for the commercial service, the experience that our office has had, at least when we've visited these parks, is VR is definitely a leading component of what a lot of these parks are wanting to do, or AR, augmented reality, both of which. And I would say that most of the parks we visit definitely have a historical bent. They do like to tell cultural stories. Some of them are very similar. A lot of them are telling cultural stories of ancient China, generally around the same types of mythology. And I think there's a lot of opportunity being able to tell different stories. It's really a question of how well the story's told, what the pitch is. Because like we said, branding and IP is something that these parks are desperately trying to seek because they need something to distinguish themselves really from the other parks that are around. So I would say, at least for my part, if all of the parks have the same logical Chinese experience, a park that's able to offer a different experience, so that example of, a scientific kind of history, as long as, the ride had engaging components, I would think that would go over extremely well and be something that parks would be extremely interested in learning more about.
Thank you. Would you like to add anything, or do you have any comments?
Okay, actually, I think 2 years ago, there are lots of VR companies. They are trying to, transfer this technology to different kinds of applications related to entertainment and also related to other industries. But these 2 years, maybe there are some technical issues, and also maybe it's because of the market acceptance. So it's as hot as before in China market. This is very obviously, you can see from the numbers of the exhibitors who is doing the VR and the AR business. So, but there are still some companies continue working in this area, and they are trying, to with different customers, basically trying to tell different stories by using this technology. So I think for the technology point, it's still a very leading, area, but the concern still existing on the operational side. So the park can have very good systems to support the operation, and also from the operation they can get the very good return of investment is still the question. So I don't know what's the request of this question, but if you are looking for some vendor or manufacturer who has this technology in China, definitely there are some. And you are maybe a VR company who want to go to China market. I can see that market is very, as I said before, it's one word we can describe it as the diversity. Okay, then it depends on whom you are talking with. Some people can spend very big money on VR and AR technology, but not all of them. And most of the customers still consider this VR and AR is the wide may sitting in the shopping mall, and that is very, liberalized. So it totally depends on, which project and which customer you are talking about. So you can give more specific questions, I can answer it.
Yes. So what about the retail and urban destination market? Describe that, or what is your advice for U.S. companies there to enter that market for destination and retail?
Yeah. Okay. So understand. So when we talk about the urban destination, or maybe in China we prefer use the family entertainment center or something, but we still need to say it's good business in China, because China is still on the process to to move the people from the countryside to the city. So today, still on the program. I think it's about 50% has been moved to the city, but there's still a big room, and the target maybe is about 70 or 80. So there's a long way to go. But the things that when we talk about the urban to Beijing is totally different from the urban to Zhengzhou or maybe Chengdu, the second, tier 2. Mm-hmm. So it's a good business, but you may need to be very selective on this kind of projects. This is my thinking about this kind of business.
So, Woody, for the VR themed productions, they typically famous or branded character animation series, or based on those, or are you seeing other programming as well?
Okay. I'm not a technical people, so I can record this question, and we can discuss this offline.
Okay. Yes, you can let us know, and then we'll share it with the webinar participants. Thank you, Woody.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And Nathan, we have a question for you. So, what is, and some is political.
Okay.
Okay. What is the prediction for how the current trade situation between the U.S. and China might affect getting work in China, and getting paid?
Okay. That's not as political as it could be. Obviously, the current negotiations and trade talks between the U.S. and China are complicated. And I do know that a lot of people are concerned about it because it is complicated and confusing. When it comes to the trade with China, the one thing that we found very I guess, currently is that we've been able to continue to do the job that we've always been able to do. There still seems to be lots of great opportunities for U.S. companies. Still lots of Chinese partners that are looking for the goods, services, and technology that the U.S. can provide. So in terms of our work, we've really been able to continue what we do. And again, what we do is find the right partners. In terms of payment issues, that hasn't really been something we've been dealing with. Again, we generally try to make sure that you have the type of partner that's actually going to fulfill their commitments, fulfill their payments, a partner that's really seriously looking for a partnership that they can maintain and build on. So that hasn't been an issue for us, and it hasn't been something we've been hearing about in other posts. Payment issues, like any country, always or can always be a problem. I'm going to say that there's never payment issues, but like in terms of the current trade conversations, we've seen nothing related to that and payment issues. And I should say too, the themed attractions industry, for the components that are service specific area that really exists outside of the current trade talks, because there aren't tariffs that are being levied against services. So that's another area that is positive in terms of opportunities here in the themed attractions industry.
Okay, thank you very much. So, operator, are you there?
Yeah, we do have some questions on the phone.
Oh, yeah, please go ahead. Thank you.
Terry, line is open.
Oh, hi, this is Terry Batch. I'm with the Commercial Service. I just had a quick question for Woody from CAPA. You said that you would be visiting the IAAPA show this month in a couple of weeks. Is it just going to be your organization, and members of your organization that will be at your booth, or will you have a delegation of Chinese companies with you? And if so, is there a way for the U.S. companies that are on the line for them to connect with your delegates while at IAAPA?
Okay. CAPA have very good relationship with IAAPA, but we still, operating separately. So basically, this time for this show, CAPA is one of the exhibitors, so we will have our booth there. But we don't have the full, the list of the China company who are going to join the show, because that information is managed by IAAPA, because they will register directly with IAAPA. So, but we do know some of the companies will visit, or maybe the exhibitor, or maybe just as the buyer to the IAAPA show. But we don't have. I don't think we have the full list of them. So maybe just, the the people who engage in CAPA organization, like the Vice Chairman or maybe some committee chair, and they will be there. But it's not on behalf of their company. So only because we know they will be there because we know they will be there because they are so working with CAPA. So, but you need the information. You are trying to understand who are the park owners or maybe investor will be there. If we know some information, then we can send you the information.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to understand if the companies want to connect with some developers or even some of the Chinese companies that are the investors that are looking to do projects in China, how would they go about doing that at IAAPA next month? So I think you answered the question. It sounds like if they're going to be exhibiting separate from your booth, and they would just need to find their booths if they are exhibitors. Is there any other way for them to connect with Chinese companies that will be traveling to the show?
We can only provide the information we know, but we don't have a very good visibility of the people from China to the IAAPA.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's what I was trying to figure out. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You're welcome.
Another question. Daryl, your line is open.
Hi, this is Daryl White from Falcons Creative Group. I've got a question about, and then maybe this is for Nathan. You hosted one of these amusement industry road shows previously, and what was the success of that?
We did do one previously. We did our first one a couple years ago, and that was specifically focused just on one opportunity. The roadshow we're talking about now is a little different just because we are trying to focus on multiple locations and really get the most out of your experience and your trip. The one that we did was it was in Changzhou. It was not this past March, but March 2017. And that was because the Long Kong Development Group, they have the dinosaur theme park, the Changzhou Dinosaur Park, which up until, I think, really Disney being built in Shanghai was probably the leading park in the region. I think when Disney was operational, it really made the Changzhou Park kind of sit back and realize that they needed to do some upgrades. They needed to evolve if they wanted to be able to better compete with Disney being so close. Changzhou is really only like a 30-minute train ride from Shanghai, so most people were making a choice between the two parks. So we had met with them, we'd talked with them, and we'd also met with the Changzhou municipal government. Whenever we do these types of events, the reason that we put them on isn't just that we find the right partner, it's that we also find the right partners in the Chinese government that really make sure that we can, again, maximize the opportunity. So we had a day-long roadshow event where we had one-on-one meetings with leading developers in the region, the major focus being the Long Kong Development Group, but we actually had developers all the way from Hangzhou come up. Be able to meet one-on-one with two design and development groups and two just straight design groups, so architectural design groups. To be able to talk both about themed attractions when it came to, say, amusement parks, and then also just themed attractions and more specific to, say, like museums, those types of themed experiences. Changzhou and the surrounding government area was looking to be more engaged in. So there were some pretty good conversations. I know there were some deal proposals that went back and forth between a couple of the participants, and specifically Long Kong. But for our part, we listened to the companies before they came, and what they really wanted to do was leverage our unique ability to get the right government officials in the room so they could build long-term relationships so that as these projects, new projects particularly, come up, they have those relationships with, at that point, say the Jiangsu Tourism Office, which would be the provincial office, so that they have the connections to be able to put themselves in a better position to compete for those types of projects. So the feedback we got from the companies was excellent. So I think, building off that experience, what we're trying to do this time now is not only do that in multiple locations, but make it even bigger and make it even better. So that, again, for the companies interested in participating in the roadshow, being able to give you these types of meetings in 3 different locations. But I know down in Guangzhou, we're trying to maximize that even even further because they're so close to Hong Kong and Shenzhen area that there are even more opportunities that they can highlight.
Okay.
Question, Yen, your line is open.
Hi, this is Ian from WET. We are specialty water design company. I have a question for the panel. So we fall into the category of the design side of the amusement parks, and we typically we go in with the architecture firm or the planning firm to capture these opportunities. I wanted to kind of just throw the question in the range to see how you guys see as a specialty design company, what would be the best way for us to capture these opportunities that hang on both sides, China and investments come over here. This is Woody. I think there's no different strategy from China and the U.S. So if you try to go to the China market, basically you still need to work with the concept, or master design companies at the beginning. So I believe most of the important design houses, they are having very good business in China market right now. So from Thinkwell and from Sanderson. So if talking about for the amusement park, I believe this is still the best way to go to the China market. Okay.
Question. A company would like to know how they can meet the right suppliers of VR, AR, and MR, because they are working with a developer, and they from the design point, they would like to find more suppliers of VR, AR, and MR from the U.S. So does anyone have any comments on that, or would like to answer that question?
Yeah, and from the commercial service perspective, it's really just a question of what your detailed interest is. Because we meet with these companies regularly. We have teams focused on this. I actually was just exchanging an email with some of our team members in the U.S., specifically about VR and AR. Again, it's a really big opportunity here, and there's a lot of opportunity for us to coordinate. So I think we can definitely be that point of contact for you all if you're looking to connect with U.S. companies, because we do meet with them when we are familiar. The only question would be, again, what type of experience are you trying to look for? What type of VR, what type of AR? The more detail that we have, the easier it is for us to narrow our target list and then consult with you about whether that target list meets your needs.
So, Nathan, are you saying that this individual can write to you directly, or
yeah, that's fine.
With that specific?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of our network, is that if you write to one of us, you've written to all of us. We're very well connected. So any questions you have, as long as you get to me or anyone else in our service, we'll make sure they get to the right person. Definitely, this is a team question.
All right, thank you. Do we have any more questions?
I have no further questions.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We will, if there are any other questions, we will conclude our webinar, and we will circulate the presentation and recording to you. We thank you for your interest in the Chinese-themed attractions market, and we look forward to working with you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.